it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a long time since I filmed a wrap-up, and I'm going to be doing two wrap-ups back-to-back. I'm going to do my September wrap-up today, then I'll have my October wrap-up, and then I will have a fall book haul for you. So today is going to be the September wrap-up, and in September I managed to read Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman and two Ruth Ware books. I read The Lying Game and In a Dark, Dark Wood, both by Ruth Ware. I read A Woman in Cabin 10 by her a couple years ago now, and I really enjoyed it, and so I've acquired these. This from my friend Richard Denny, and this I got at the book exchange for $13 of credit, and so I read both of these in September, because starting in September, like September, October, November, I really like to read thriller, spooky, mystery books, and that's what these books are. Thunderhead, back in, let's see, probably towards the end of August I picked this up, and this is the second book in the Scythe series by Neal Shusterman. I really enjoyed Scythe. I loved it a lot. I love utopian, dystopian worlds still when it's like done totally differently, and this is like one of those utopian worlds. If you don't know, The Giver is my favorite book of all time, and that's like kind of like a utopian world in a way. So Thunderhead follows the events of the first book. If you don't know what the Scythe series is about, it's basically the world now is a world where there's no disease, there's no sickness, there's no death, nothing like that. So in order to cull the population, we have these scythes, and in the first book there's two like apprentices that are gonna like try out to be one of the next scythes in like a region or whatever, and I loved it. I thought it was a very interesting concept, and the writing was really smart. And what I mean by that is a lot of times when I'm reading a book, I feel like, did the author think about that? And in these books you can definitely tell that the author thought about everything. So in this book it kind of picks up where the other one left off, but it has so much going on in this book. It's a fairly like hefty book. This one is over 500 pages, and it just had a lot going on. I ended up rating this story 4 out of 5 stars for that reason. I felt that it could, if it was like around 300 pages, 350 pages, I felt like some of the time, some of the stuff could have been taken out, and it could have been a little bit stronger. I still think it's a smart, like, it's very smart. It's very interesting. I loved the characters. There were new characters. There were new storylines. It went in directions that I wasn't expecting. I highly recommend this series. It's so good, you guys. It's a very smart, different world full of unlikable characters, characters that you'll fall in love with, and just this book will keep you on the edge of your seat wondering what's going to happen next. And I really loved it. The only thing is that it had a little too much going on. So if some of the things would have been left out, or if it would have kept like probably the last few chapters until the next book, it would have been a little bit stronger and would have gotten 5 stars from me. Okay, so obviously the next two books that I read were the Ruth Ware books, and I don't remember which one I read first and which one I read second, but I'm glad that I completed these. Now, like I said, these books came, I think, I don't know which one was her debut, but I think this one came first, then The Woman in Cabin 10, and then this one, and she has another one out as well, which I hear like people that haven't liked her previous books really like that one, so I'm definitely going to check that one out. But let's go ahead and talk about these books. Now, to be completely honest, these are rather forgettable. I rated both of these books 3 stars. I thought they had good elements. They had that classic Ruth Ware where you kind of know what happens and you're figuring out how you got to that point. So it's kind of flipping back and forth, like this is what is going on currently, and this is like, no, this is like present day, and this is how we got there, like past and present kind of. So she's kind of classic for that. She did it in The Woman in Cabin 10, which is the book that I originally read by her, and she did it in these books as well. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware first. This is the one where the main character is an author or a writer, I believe, and she gets invited to this hen party, for one of her like college friends or something like that she hasn't talked to in 10 years. And if you don't know, a hen party is basically like a bachelorette party. So she hasn't talked to this friend in 10 years, and all of a sudden she's getting invited to her bachelorette party. She ends up emailing a friend asking if they're going, and they are, so they decide, okay, let's do it and go together. So they go to this like place in the woods that's really ominous, and you're thinking, I've heard this all before. And yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. It felt very much like And Then There Were None, like 10. It felt like that classic murder mystery. A whole bunch of people go to a place in the woods, and this like secluded place, and then like creepy stuff or like mysterious stuff or deaths end up happening. So in this one, she ends up getting there, finding out that her friend that's getting married end up like marrying her old boyfriend, and she ends up bumping into a bunch of people, and Nora is Lenora. She has lots of names, so she goes by like Lenora, I think is her name, but she also goes by Nora, and she also goes by Lee. Unreliable narrator. And the other people you kind of end up liking a little bit more. But yeah, she basically goes there to this hen party, stuff ends up happening, and then you like are figuring out the pieces as it goes on. So like I said, 3 stars, but like it's really a forgettable story. Like I don't really remember exactly what happened. I do remember feeling that atmosphere, that, you know, being alone, it's cold. She ends up going for like runs and stuff like that. Yeah, someone ends up dead, and you're wondering who killed them, how did it happen, and, you know, so forth. So yeah, there's that one. And then the next one, very much the same feelings about it. It's like kind of told, you get a little bit of the past, you get a little bit of the present. This one is a group of girls that were friends in boarding school, and yeah, a second-rate boarding school set near the cliffs of an English channel. So they always played this game around school, Two Truths and a Lie. They would always lie to people, and they kind of like mixed up these stories, and they got a bad reputation for that. Again, the setting was really great. The salt in the air and the foggy mornings and stuff like that. But basically, something happened in the past, and they've kind of been burying like what happened. But now this body has been found in the English Channel, and the one girl that still lives in the town where the boarding school is calls them all back and says, like, I need you. 3 words, I need you. And then, so they all kind of run back to this town where this event happened, and they're kind of staying in the house and realizing how run down it is. And she ends up bringing like her daughter with her, and I don't know, just like kind of crazy stuff goes down. I think I liked this one a little bit more than this one, but still 3 stars because a lot of it was forgettable, but I did like that they were like boarding school friends coming together because of this long, you know, thing that happened in the past. And I won't say it was an edge of the seat thriller, but I did think that it had great characters and twists, and but that's the thing, like, even though that they're not like great mystery thrillers, they still keep you guessing and still keep you like trying to get to the end to like find out what would happen. So that's basically what happened in both of these. This one was the kids that lied in boarding school had a bad reputation, but something happened, and now a body has been found, and they're all getting back together to like find out like what really happened. Are they going to be pegged as the whodunit, and so forth. And then this one is girl goes back to like be reunited with friends from college, hasn't seen them in 10 years. Someone dies, and now you're finding out like who done that. or what, you know, what happened and so forth. But out of all of these books, I definitely recommend the Scythe series the most, because Scythe was really good, Thunderhead was really good, and I can't wait for the newest book that will hopefully be out in 2019, fingers crossed. But those are the books that I read in September. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're all having a lovely day, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!